at 5 Loop, which was great. And had a really, really positive experience with that. I wish I'd gotten to co-write a little bit more, but I'm actually co-writing with another one of my professors, which was cool. Which is cool. So, yeah, all good.
Right on.
That's cool. And the other thing I was going to say about that too is that, like, with respect to your guitar playing, I've never met somebody who's like a really great guitar player that says, "Oh, I'm great, I've got this down." In fact,
constantly working on.
Yeah, like what ends up happening is there's this sensation of, like, there's an old saying: the further up the hill you go, the more of the horizon you can see. So just when you start to think you're getting pretty good at it, you kind of go,
Yeah.
There's a whole rabbit hole.
Yes.
And then you're right. The feeling is that you're right back to where you started. So I think it's a good thing to kind of, to continue to upload the guitar playing. Hopefully that informs the songwriting. Hopefully that informs your musicianship. But that's great.
It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. What you're talking about. There's actually like a research. I see Dave's head nodding. Dunning-Kruger, that like the more you know how much you don't know.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I should also mention I have an EP coming out next year that I'm working on finishing. So that's another piece of the songwriting puzzle.
Cool. Awesome. Looking forward
And
to
the fun flip side to Dunning-Kruger is the less you know, the better you think you are. That's the interesting flip side.
I think we met somebody like that in the White House a few years ago. I don't know if anybody else remembers that, but yeah.
That was a dark period that we're all trying to forget about.
For real.
I mean, we gotta not forget about it, or it might come back. We gotta fight.
Okay, point taken.
I get it though.
Yeah. So this month, I thought we weren't doing an assignment, but apparently I did offer an assignment, and that was to add an outside chord into your writing this month. So does anybody want to talk about the experience of what they created, or did you make fun things?
I have a song.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
And how did you choose to incorporate a wild little chord in there?
I don't know that it's so wild. I mean, at first I was just going from a D to a B flat, because I'm just like, well, that doesn't belong. So why don't I go with that? But then I ended up, staying in the key of D, going from a D to an A minor, and then I've got an A seventh and a regular A, and then I've got a G and a G minor seventh. So, but I promise you, because John, you said not to think about it. I wasn't thinking about it,
Thinking is bad.
Like, I played a D to an A minor, and I'm like, oh, I've got this melody I like. So, that's better than I like the melody with a D to a B flat. So let's just go with the A minor and hope that it passes the assignment.
Sure.
Oh gosh, I mean, I only just give these as suggestions to spark your creativity.
No, I know.
That doesn't have anything that we talked about. You're just like, I love this song, and then that's working. That's working towards something. That's the idea. All right, you want to share it with us?
Sure. Who you want me to start?
Yeah.
Probably better than following Tay, because she's got great vocals, from what I hear. So, and then Drew and I have this running thing about I don't want to follow Drew's production. So
I can't sing though, so.
So you're implying that I can?
I'm implying that I'm low man on the totem pole on that.
Oh man, come on. All right, so here we go. There's the chords, and if I can get this to behave, there we go. From the neon of light through the
Are they still searching for a place to thrive? Won't live in the shadowlands, or give in to their demands. So I'm looking to the light to see where the shadows land. There's no reason to fear the darkness within. I choose to live in the light, not stay where I've been. Are they still searching for a place to thrive? Won't live in the shadowlands, or give in to their demands. So I'm looking to the light to see where the shadows land. There's no reason to hide from what is inside. Won't live in the shadowlands, or give in to their demands. So I'm looking to the light to see where the shadows land. To see where the shadows land.
Thank you.
Very cool. My favorite thing is the shadows land, shadowlands, shadows land. That's very, very clever. It was conjuring up images of Peter Pan in my mind. Remember the whole shadow thing with them?
Yes.
My childhood, a little nostalgia.
Okay, so I'm sort of looking through. Okay, first is, you know, Dave, as always, your lyrics are just clever as hell. You know, and I concur with Julie that, you know, like, we won't live in the shadows land, and then at the end is to see where the shadows land. Second thing, I really like the way that you've couched the chords in this and how the chords work against the melody. It's like, you know, you know, like when you go to that G minor in the pre-chorus, you know, like you can, like it really kind of says, okay, whoop, going someplace else now. You know.
We've established the G and the B natural.
Yeah. So now, if I have anything, and this is, you know, this is just feedback. You can either take it or leave it as you see fit. What kind of came up for me was the amount of time that it takes you to get from the phrase, so I'm getting to the light, and then to see where the shadows land. And I kind of feel like that it might sit a little better if you can find a way to get to the line to see where the shadows land a little sooner. And what I mean by that is maybe drop a couple of beats of the E minor, you know.
Make a short measure, or do a ripping guitar fill.
Yeah, do a ripping guitar fill, exactly, yeah. Ripping guitar fills always work no matter what, always.
Uh-huh.
You could always add.
You got that, Tay?
Yeah.
Some nice
Yes.
background vocal too.
I'm taking the notes.
Yeah. So, you know, other than, you know, that was really the only thing that, you know, that came up for me. I really like the E minor, the F sharp minor, and the bridge. You know, I like everything about the way that you have the melody set up. That was the only thing that for me, I was listening to it, and then it took me a couple of listens to understand what you were getting at when you were saying, I won't live in the shadows land. and then to see where the shadows land. You know, but yeah, so that's my take. Great job though, really. I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love the melody. Now, did you say that you wrote the melody first, or did you throw the chord progression out first?
Gosh, actually, now that you make me think about it, I think that D to the A minor, I was humming that melody. And then, a week ago Wednesday, all I had was the lyrics for verse 1, and I had like, where am I going to go? I have no clue. But yeah, I had that melody from the D over the D to the A minor that I actually liked, and so
Yep.
I had that melody, and then playing with the alliterations of Neon of Night and Dark of the Day.
Yep.
And then, John, I had to put my puns in there, like shadows shrink from
Mm.
so.
Yep. You have to.
It's
You
part of
know.
who I am.
It's become part of your style. Yeah, because the melody,
So-
it seemed like the melody, it was existing on its own, and then all of a sudden you brought the chords underneath, and you kind of figured out, how can I support the melody? Do you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
like how that happens. Sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes we have this cool chord progression, and then the melody just comes up from that.
Yeah.
But it feels very organic, the way the melody flows.
Yeah, it does. And like when I write melodies, one of the things, one of the ideals that I try to strive for is I want the melody to sound like it was just like the most natural thing in the world to sort of fall out of what's happening around the music, either a chord progression or a feel or a groove or something. Like they're the best when they don't feel forced. Having said that, sometimes to get there, I kind of have to muscle it around a little bit and try a bunch of things, to see, to see what I really like.
What is the best option?
And there's an element of having things happen in a way that's just slightly unexpected can be useful. So that's kind of why, like if I'm writing a melody, I'll really kind of go down a rabbit hole in terms of what might be possible, and then sometimes I'll settle on what I originally came up with, and then other times it's completely different.
Right. I think Tay had a comment.
Yeah. Well, so a couple of things. So I was a little bit confused. I mean, so first of all, there's so much about this that I love. I will say that so I think you threw in, if I'm getting this correctly, in the pre-chorus you've got this 4 minor 7 and then a 5 minor 7, which I haven't heard people do that particular thing, of like throwing two non-enharmonic chords on subdominant and dominant back to back. Like that's pretty cool. I was trying to figure out, like, from a lyrics perspective. So you're saying you won't live in the Shadowlands, but there's no reason to hide. And I wasn't clear though, like, what is inside, or how does that relate to, like, saying that statement, if I won't live in the Shadowlands. Um, uh, and I was curious, like, what that was about for you, and what lyrical choices might make that clearer.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like all I had was the first verse, and I was Googling everything about shadows, afraid of your own
Right.
shadow and someone else's shadow. So I came across, Carl Jung's theory of your shadow self, the part of yourself that you don't, that you hide because you don't like it or you're not proud of it. I called my best friend from college, who's a psych major. I'm like, hey, is Jungian psychology still a thing? And
Kinda.
so, yeah, I guess so, and then I'm not new age, but I talked to a new ager and I'm like, okay, so you guys have this thing called, shadow work, or, so living in the Shadowlands for me is, I'm not going to stay with the negative parts of me. I'm not going to give into the demands of that, the part of me that I don't like. So I'm going to keep looking at the lights so I can be aware of where those shadows are landing. So yeah, apparently I didn't get that across clearly.
Yeah, I mean, it it's sort of like that's kind of what I thought you might be going for. I think there maybe in the bridge that from what is inside, like you could get more specific there. Like what is inside? Uh, that and maybe make that personal. Um, in a way that kind of like gives the song another dimension. I think there's a really good opportunity there.
I kind of like the simplicity of the chorus. I guess for me, when I heard it the first time, I resonated with it, and I've always, I was mesmerized with shadows when I was a little kid, you know, especially with that Peter Pan thing that I was telling you about. So when you're facing the sun or the light source, there you don't see the shadow because it's behind you. So it's kind of this, I don't want to give in to that darkness. And if we're facing the light, that's where I want to be. So, you know, it was kind of like, that's what I got from it. And I love how the melody resolved on the shadows land, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
I
too.
thought that was really clever.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Maybe, maybe double the length of the bridge to add a little more context.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, John, I intentionally held on to that E minor of lights kind of for suspense. So maybe if I put a guitar fill in there, it'll be okay.
That always works, no matter what.
Okay, well, I'll have to have Drew do that for me or one of you two.
Sometimes you
Or
can.
Tay. I haven't heard Tay's song yet, so you know, anybody's probably a better guitarist than I am. So
Yeah, and,
Oh,
and
Dave,
again,
Yeah.
Another option is to, you know, use some kind of prosodical lyric that would be like you're looking for a long time, and then you know use something in a melody or have light a melody on light where it stretches out a little longer. You could start the phrase a little later where there's a little space. You know, it'd be a back heavy phrase. Maybe have a rest at the beginning of the G chord so that the phrase goes through a little further into the E minor. Just play around with it. That's kind of what I do.
yeah, and you know, as we were sort of kidding each other about, you know, about having that space to have all those guitar licks, you know, when you said
Yeah,
that
I love
about
that.
kind of holding on to that, you know, again, first of all, the feedback that I gave you in the beginning was just sort of a knee-jerk impression. I'm not saying that it was exactly right, and then when you said that, it kind of made me think, so, you know, I'm looking into the light, and then it sounds like you want some kind of a pause there for you to, you know, for the listener to sort of take in the fact that you contemplate that. So, if I were a producer on this, I would probably be asking the artist the question, what does light sound like? Do you know what I mean? So how do we make a sound that sounds like what the thought is?
Yeah.
Right? As you were saying, using the word prosodical, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it could be like a synthy, swooshy kind of a sound. You know, I don't know. I'm just talking off the top of my head, but you know, something like that could be useful too. You know?
Yeah.
Could be like a really like light kind of playful ascending arpeggio.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
many
Yeah.
options. Jeez.
Yeah. There's a lot of things like that that you can sort of play with, and I think. You know, if you have, I think if you have an idea in your head of what that might sound like, it's a little easier to get closer to it.
no, that was a great idea. Yeah, some synth pad and maybe some guitar fill ascending.
Yeah. Yeah, well, guitar fills always work, no matter what.
Yeah.
Always.
We're always down.
Longer solos are always better too.
Well, you know my songs, I struggle to get to the 3-minute mark.
All right. Cool. Well, good work.
Thanks.
Who wants to share next?
I mean, I didn't know what the assignment was, but I've been playing a lot with non-enharmonic chords.
Okay.
I need a minute to move my keyboard over though. So probably not me next, but I can do that
I'll
while
go.
the next.
I'll go.
Okay. Okay.
All
Cool.
good. There's only one other person in the room.
Well,
So I'm going to
John,
mute myself and start moving things, but I'll be listening.
All good.
All right, cool.
Julie, I emailed you again.
Oh, I'm not
Is
on
that-
my computer. Do you want to share it from your?
Can you email it to my email address?
Yeah, I think I can. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Yeah, we're on my laptop right now.
Which email address, John? Berkeley?
jfn@berkeley.edu, yeah.
Okay. Boop.
so just to give Drew a hard time, don't they let you play sound from Florida?
No,
Okay.
no, our governor outlawed it with everything else.
All right. You should put that,
Buzzing.
I think you have
put
to pay
that on
a
a bus and send that out as well.
Crazy
Yeah,
Town?
I got a new computer, man. I don't know what I'm doing. I sent it to John. You can let me know if you get it. If not, then I will try and figure out the share.
should be coming in.
I hope so.
There it is. So if you press play on that, that should come up on the speakers over on the right.
Waiting for the lyrics to come up.
I was hoping to have a 360-degree view of my lyrics and song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's exactly right. It's gonna come up on the top. Now, the only thing that's going to be tricky is how do we... Oh, share some. Okay, good.
Huh? Oh, there you go. I knew you guys would figure it out before I did.
Oh, come on. You can't have
What was that? Sorry, I was going to start it.
Sorry, I just, I told Johnny he
Talking
could
trash.
have the word neon in his song because I did, Anyway, I'll be quiet now.
I'll mention it later. Trust me. You'll appreciate the story.
Somewhere along the line, I outgrew my tribe. I've heard the idle chatter shouldn't really matter. What I'm gonna do with my life, just keep your neon lights away from my Friday nights, 'cause the stars don't sit right near a city that bright. Gotta break away as far from A1A as I can go. I appreciate the invite. I got some nothing to do. I think you got it overblown. What you think you got, I don't. Doesn't really matter. Asked and answer. Where you think you'll be when I won't. Keep your neon lights away from my Friday nights, 'cause the stars don't quite sit right near a city that bright. Those 2-for-1 specials seem a little underwhelming when an old warm flannel and a good single barrel would do. Don't mean to be rude, but I got some nothing to do. Build a beach bonfire for a quiet all-nighter. Find a drink worth sipping. But who am I kidding? You wouldn't understand what I do. I guess I'll do nothing. Keep your neon lights away from my Friday nights, 'cause the stars don't quite sit right near a city glowing that bright. The 2-for-1 special seem a little underwhelming when an old warm flannel in a good single barrel would do. I guess I'll do nothing. Good single barrel. I guess I do nothing. Beach bonfire, quiet all night. I find a drink worth sipping. But who am I kidding? You wouldn't understand what I do. I guess it does nothing for you.
Nice. I love it.
So there's a couple of
It's
things.
very sing-alongy.
Yeah.
It is. I could totally see this like it's a total country hit. Like Miranda Lambert could sing this.
Call her up. Call her up. Sell it.
Okay, Miranda, if you're watching.
Thank you.
One of the things, I was kind of thinking the same thing. First of all, that 4 minor really really brings this song to a nice place.
It's like a musical punctuation.
One thing that I really love that you did is in the melody, like the chords go from G to E minor, right? Right?
Yeah,
G to E minor.
basically. Yeah, you're talking about the verse or the chorus?
Verse.
Verse is G, C with a G in the bass, and then E minor.
So,
Yeah.
G minor 6.
It's all subbing out.
when you open the melody, you're hitting a G chord.
Yep.
And you open with the note C.
Yep.
Like so it's like a very simple, dissonance resolution kind of a thing, but it's really cool. Like it makes it really work because
Thanks, man.
as soon as you start to sing, it's like, oh, dissonant, consonant, resolution, tension, resolution, right away.
Right off the bat.
And then another thing that you did that I just loved is that line, I've got some nothing to do. And then you have a few variations of that. But the way that you deliver it, it's an important line to understand the real true meaning of the song. Because you're basically saying, I feel like an important line in the song is, you wouldn't understand what I do, but I got some nothing to do. Mm-hmm. Right? So,
Nope.
To me, that line, I've got some nothing to do, is an important line, but the way you deliver it, you sort of toss it off. Which I think is really cool.
Well, it makes me think about, my sister was in the Air Force, and she had a pretty important job. She was an admin in the hospital, and someone once said to her, oh, you never really worked in the military. So that's the whole running thing. Oh, since I do nothing.
Right.
It's almost like, yes. Did someone is that what you're saying? Almost like, oh yeah, I'll be doing nothing over here.
Right.
Because that's what they expect of you? Or is it just...
Well, it's just that sentiment of, you wouldn't understand what I do, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. For me, yeah. Like as an introvert, like sometimes I don't want to go, to Friday happy hour, and I actually get something out of not going where everybody else is, and
you really are choosing nothing.
Yeah, and so what ends up happening. Okay, so let me start from the beginning here. Wednesday night, I realized I had nothing, and that's kind of how I had no song, and I was like, oh shit. And then Thursday was booked for me. And so I had to pull something out of my butt because, Dave would be very upset with me. And so
We don't want Dave to be
Really-
upset.
yeah, exactly. And that's my whole purpose, really. And so I really phoned this one in. The and so I just kind of went through like the process of like what's an easy song to write, anything in G, sub out E minor and C, 1 6 4 5, what's an odd chord. A real easy odd chord was the 4 down to 4, minor 4 down to 1, so I just kind of phoned that in. And then I was talking to somebody about, like I feel, I feel blessed, of course, that I have friends that invite me out and stuff, but like that puts me in a weird position sometimes because you invite me out and it's like, okay, hey, let's hang out at the bar. Well, I don't want to go to a bar. I play out. You know what I mean? like I don't.
Right.
I'd rather sit at home, and that's actually fun for me. And so there, so you say, oh no, I got something, and then somebody follows it up with, of course, oh well, what are you doing?
Right.
Right. None of your goddamn business.
Yeah, I'm stuff.
That's-
Stuff. I don't know. Yeah, and like it's not nothing, but it's something, right? But it's and so then for me, I kind of stumble on it, and
Sure.
it puts me in an awkward situation, and then I think about it, late at night, and I'm like, God, why didn't I have something for that? So, anyways, the whole song was kind of, like I said, I kind of phoned this one in, so it was, me versus you, and the old you in general, and when somebody invites me, I just kind of feel sometimes I don't really want to go. It's not anything against anybody. I just don't want to go out, and if you're from Florida, A1A is kind of the that's where Daytona is, and bike week and all the amateurs, go out there and live large and watered down 2-for-1 specials and just crap, and so I just kind of went with that.
Well, if this is you phoning it in, it's really a good job.
It is fun.
I loved it.
Thanks.
That's really, like, I feel that vibe so hard of like, I'm an introvert.
Right?
I don't care what you have going on Saturday night.
Yeah.
But
Thank
I'm
you.
not interested. So
Yeah,
I totally
thanks.
get that.
Yeah.
I really like the line in particular, keep your neon lights away from my Friday night.
Thanks.
Like that was, I felt like that encapsulated that so with such specificity. That was really, really cool.
If anybody's ever
yeah.
lived close to a city and tried to see the stars, you know exactly. What
Yeah.
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Where
It's
like
called visual light pollution.
yeah, and then you go
Yeah.
out. It's weird. You get just far out enough from the city, and you look up, and you're like, oh my god, there's like 900 billion stars more than I thought it was. So yeah. Oh,
so
and
just
Dave.
so you know, there's a comet. We'll be able to see the comet.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
When?
Nice.
When?
That's exciting.
This weekend.
Oh, cool.
Okay then.
I think it's called Namaste. I don't know.
Oh,
Dave.
I can't remember the name. Just look for
Nishimura. I have a friend whose last name.
Nishimura. Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
Hey,
that's
Dave.
all.
The line about neon lights was because I didn't have anything, and so where it started was we going, man, I don't think I'm going to turn in anything, and then I was like, no, pros finish, and I stole that from John Mayer, an interview with John Mayer. He's like, no, pros finish.
Oh, and then he has the neon.
And so I go, well, yeah, but he wrote neon. You know what I mean? Like I just need a neon to crap out, And then I'm like, but I don't do neon. You know what I mean? Like I'm not downtown shaking my ass, And I'm like, okay,
That's
so
it.
there's the song. Fuck it.
You know what I appreciate is the neon light section. There's so many words happening in such a short time.
Yeah, it's a
but
pain in
to
the
have
butt to
all
sing.
these rhymes that are perfect rhymes right at the end. It just keeps you in the loop. I'm like, oh, familiar.
Yeah, that's all. Familiar. My favorite one is bonfire. I think I rhymed bonfire somewhere, and I was really proud of myself for doing that.
Oh
Did I?
yeah.
Oh yeah. I was really
All night.
like. We all have that moment, right? Silently, where we're like, ah, yes, I
Yeah.
rhymed
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
You know
that's
what
cool.
I mean? So yeah, bonfire and all nighter.
Yeah, perfect.
Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
no, Drew, I wouldn't call this. It didn't sound phoned in. So if this is what a song sounds
Thank
like when you
you.
phone it in, then hey,
It's very
keep
kind.
that cell phone handy. I agree with Tay. This would be I could hear this as a hit country song. This is
Thank you. I
Yeah.
feel like it needs a major rewrite for some reason. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
Well-
maybe play with the arrangement, but like this is
Yeah.
a really solid tune.
Thanks.
Oh, I did have one question. A
Yes.
single barrel. Are you talking about a shotgun?
No. So
Okay.
when you like people that like really good bourbon, like there's a type of bourbon that's a quality bourbon, and so what they do is they so like if you get like lower grade whiskeys, they have like a bunch of different barrels, and they kind of just all pour it all into this one vat, and then it sell it to the masses. But if you when you get to the expensive ones, one of the things that they do is they craft a single casket basically for it, and so that's what makes it smoother and cleaner and nicer. And so
It's not intermingled.
yeah, so the play I thought the play was 2-for-1 special. Like for me, that's kind of the watered down, like I'm gonna drink as much as I can, and
Mhm.
whereas for me, if I'm gonna drink anymore, it's gonna be like a really, really good bourbon, and that's kind of my
Nurse it all night.
That single
yeah,
barrel.
exactly. Like, but I mean,
Yeah,
I
okay.
can have like, now I can have like 1 or 2 ounces, nurse it all night, and be totally happy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Savor
that's it.
every little sip.
Yeah, but I actually like that taste. You know what I mean? Whereas, if you're pounding them down for, I don't know, a record, like you're not
Right.
tasting that. So yeah. Anyways,
So the question that comes up for me is:
Sure.
Are there people in the world that would understand the term single barrel? A good single barrel would do.
yeah, there's a lot of people like
Okay.
anybody that's ever
Drink, so we don't know that.
Yeah.
drink bourbon.
Because I was thinking the same thing. Is that is he talking about shotgun? But if you're not,
No.
For me the explanation you gave is sufficient. Like it's just me being ignorant to to how bourbon works.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Like if you go for like 2-for-1 specials at a bar, they're always slinging something that's watered down, like
Right.
Fireball or something like that, and
Right.
or the regular Jack Daniels or whatever. But when you get into bourbons that are quality bourbons, that's one of the first things that you'll notice is that there'll be a single, it'll be a good single barrel. Like you can buy Jack Daniels, and that's your $20 bottle, but like you can buy like Jack Daniels Select and it's a single barrel.
That's
Maybe I forget if that one's a single barrel, but you know what I'm talking about now.
I
So,
see. Cool.
thanks.
Very good job.
Yeah. Nice work.
I'm really
Thank you.
proud of you guys for pulling something together.
Yeah.
I hope it
Group
didn't
hug.
feel stressful. Group hug.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why we do this, is to just have that time every single month, and
Yep.
whether we just throw something together or pour our heart for the entire month. Not all of us have the time to pour our hearts for the entire month, but I'm super proud of you guys. 2 good songs. And now Tay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is how not quite awake I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a piano song, and then I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do a guitar song, and then I was like, ooh, wait, I have a recording of this song and I have a cough. Go ahead
Just
and play the recording for you guys.
And do
Okay,
you mind sharing
so
on the screen?
yeah, not at all. Let me
do-
see. How do I want to do this? Okay,
Yeah.
so share sound,
Multiple.
share. Okay, so you should be able to hear the audio, and then I'm going to pull up the lyrics here in just a second. Let me know if you can't hear it.
We can hear it.
Could you hear that? Okay, great.
You're heaven in a leather jacket on my narrow little bed. For you it's just a Tuesday, just one experiment. But I could live inside this forever. Heaven is the way your eyes bore into mine. Baby, your mind control puts in overtime. But I could obey you forever. 'Cause I can only feel my soul when I see it through your eyes. I'm always half alone. The mirror always lies and the world ends. The world ends every time we say goodbye. Heaven is the way you reach for me so shyly. Heaven is the way you shove me so politely away. But I could come back here forever. 'Cause I can only feel my soul when I see it through your eyes. I'm always half alone. The mirror always lies and the world ends. The world ends every time we say goodbye. At night your hands across my skin, oh, they make such a nice distraction. You're the perfect avoidance. But when dawn creeps across the sheets and I see you honestly, all I see is disappointment. But I can only feel my soul when I see it through your eyes. I'm always half alone. The mirror always lies and the world ends. The world ends every time we say goodbye. Heaven is the low drone of your voice beneath mine. The way we blend the harmony, the way our stories rhyme. And I could sing with you forever. 'Cause I can only feel my soul when I see it through your eyes. I'm always half alone. The mirror always lies and the world ends. The world ends every time we say goodbye. And the world ends every time. Somehow I survive. Somehow I survive. Somehow I survive.
So apparently those were the wrong lyrics, the old lyrics. Sorry about that.
That's
That's
fine.
okay. I know, but I was getting kind of 90s vibes. You're probably too young for that, but I was feeling it.
I turned 40 in May, so yes,
Oh.
I grew up on
You
I
grew
grew up
up?
on like Alanis and Tori and all those
Oh, yes.
that vibe.
Very beautiful. I love the imagery in the lyrics. I love a good love song too.
Yeah, especially a good tortured love song. Those are the best, right?
Yeah.
Torture.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking about, it took me like just like whenever I listen to a song for the first time, I like to just kind of just sit back and just kind of take it in instead of trying like my default when I listen to music is I'm always like analyzing. Okay, one major seven, four major seven, four five, ooh, diminished, and you know if I'm just trying to enjoy the music, that can be sort of counterproductive. So as I was listening to it, I was really trying to turn that analytic side off and just take in the sentiment of it.
Yeah.
And I really liked it because, on one hand, it's saying, it seems kind of upbeat, but then you're basically saying the world ends when we say goodbye, and there's a few other things that you say within the context of the tune that sort of suggest a similar mindset.
Yeah.
I like that. I think if I was to make any suggestion around that, it might be, it took me a minute to understand that that's what was really what you're saying, so you could consider, playing with some of the music and maybe some of the lyric placement to try to make that point slightly more clear, or leave it as it is. I'm just throwing some.
Yeah. No, I think it's a neat idea. There's sort of a reverse. Part of this is, and the comment that you just made means that it's not coming through as clearly as I want it to, which is really useful information.
Right.
I want, so that whole somehow I survive, it's like, you kind of like this, so every verse of that song is about a different person.
Right.
It's not the same. It's like, this is my pattern. This is literally going all the way back to college.
Okay.
So more than 20 years of making the same not fantastic decision about who to jump into bed with. And
Right. Every time you're in a relationship,
yeah. Oh.
like you're always 50% of what happens.
Exactly. I'm so sorry. My husband, who's not one of those guys, is knocking on my door. Will you give me just one?
Sure.
It did seem more like it was the sentiment of love.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, so the sentiment, like what I'm trying to, like, somehow I survive. It's like, okay, like the world is not actually ending. These dudes are just being who they are.
Right.
Or in one case, this non-binary human is being who they are. And it's sort of a it's like the upbeat part is like, I'm gonna get through this, somehow I survive. I'm self-aware enough now.
Right.
But I get that maybe that needs to be spelled out a little bit clearer. And I think the bridge is probably a good opportunity to do that.
Yep.
Or it might be something that comes right at the top.
Sometimes
that could.
So sometimes when, and again, I'm somebody, I don't really write lyrics very often. So most of the music that I write is going to be either instrumental or, something along those lines. But I will say that one of the things that gets me pretty good results is to spend a fair amount of time looking through everything to see if what I'm putting forth really needs to be there the way that it is. Does everything that's included actually have to be there? And is it better if I say it without it?
I think I err on the side of being too simple.
I don't know. Sometimes I would say sometimes maybe, but sometimes not. You have a lot of range around stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think. But I tend to like overwrite, and then I have to sort of pull 75% of what I wrote out of the song, and very often what's left is what really needs to be there.
I love rewriting though.
Yeah.
feel like it really pares down, it prunes.
Yeah.
Prunes the
Yeah.
excess.
You
So,
find
yeah.
you find the pieces that need to be there and the pieces that need to be enhanced and the pieces that you could just snip away and
Yeah.
Sometimes we just put
Yeah.
things in placeholders, you know.
So
Yeah, it's true.
we actually have to go because we have another class we have to start in 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We're
So-
doing the ukulele club next. But,
Yeah.
we will meet again. Let's pick a day real quick.
Can I just ask one quick question?
Sure.
Dave and Andrew, if you guys have feedback, I'm going to drop my email in the chat. I would really appreciate your insights.
Sure.
Thank you.
So, okay, so here's my thoughts about next time. So I'm going to present a couple of options. One option is take the songs you're already working with and just do a rewrite. You know?
That's a good thing.
Option two, just write a different song. Do you have any suggestions, what criteria that you want to?
I was thinking, wouldn't it be crazy if we just all used the same title?
Ooh, that might be fun.
Because I just have a whole list of titles, and
Yeah.
but I mean, we'd all have to agree on it.
Yeah.
There was one.
I have one.
You do?
Yeah. How can I miss you if you won't go away? I'm kidding.
Okay, we've got. I'm just gonna ignore it.
Yeah, good.
I mean, does anybody have a title, or we could? We only have 1 minute.
I think this is Juli's Songwriting Club, and you just want to just throw one out. Don't think about it too hard.
Okay, how about We're Made of Time?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we're all gonna write a song, same title.
We're made of
There's
time.
no genre specific. And you don't have to use that exact title, you can use a variation of it, you know what I mean?
Okay, so made of time without the word is okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that sound cool?
This is cool and
crazy.
exciting.
Well, that's fun.
Thank you so much for sharing your time and your music with us. I didn't share a song. We've always been like cut short with time lately,
Yeah.
but we're not made of time. Anyway, maybe it just takes more planning, more time planning.
Hey,
But
hey,
anyway,
real quick, can we point out that Dave gives me shit for production, yet he had horns in his?
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, Dave. How much more time do we have? Let's talk about that for another hour.
I have an explanation. I'll make it really short. I was on a Zoom call with 11 other songwriters with Bobby Osinski on Wednesday. And I just sent a song in that was my scratch tracks, and he was giving me all kinds of crap, including find someone else to sing it. But he's like, you need to add arrangements. And so to keep the song interesting, I'm like, but it's only 3 minutes long, you know? So this week, yes, Drew, I was working on arrangements. So thank you.
Yeah.
I
Just
forgot
giving you
to
a hard time,
mention.
bro.
That was like it just came out of nowhere. I was like, was that horns?
Yeah. It was kind of cool. And,
I like it. It
and-
added a dimension.
and I kind of disagree. For the purposes of a demo, the purpose of a demo is to try to figure out if the song has legs. So, yeah, actually, no.
Oh,
That
we're
date
going
does
away
not
that
work.
day.
Yeah. So the following week, 21st or the 7th.
Can we do the Songwriting Club, Ukulele Club combination again on October 7th? 'Cause that might be the only time we can.
October 7.
The only
What-
downside is we don't have time for Julie's songs when we do that, but it's
So
better
maybe
than
I'll-
not doing it at all.
We will just be, we'll edit, we'll be more succinct. We'll just jump right in.
Yeah, maybe we'll do Julie's songs
What
first.
time?
We're gonna do 1 p.m. again.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern.
1 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
down in Seattle. I can't believe we lived
Yes.
in the same place. I lived there from 1991 to 2014.
I mean, I was a little kid in 1991. Well, not a little kid, but I was like 8, and 2014 I was back from college. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe our paths crossed, but we didn't actually meet.
Weird.
Wild.
Cool.
Super wild. We know each other now. That's what
Yeah.
counts.
Yes,
All right.
I'm very pleased that that's the case.
All right. Awesome.
We
All right.
will see you in a month, and I'll send out a reminder. And oh yeah, live long and prosper.
Yes.
And Drew, stick
Live
around
long
for
and
ukulele
prosper.
club, man.
Yeah, ukulele.
Yeah,
we're
come
jumping
for
right in.
ukulele club. It's fun.
Yeah, I may need a second to transition, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll try and be
That's
there.
fine. All right.
I'm gonna
So do
end
we.
this session, and then I'll begin again in ukulele club. All right.